Welcome back, dear students. Today's class we are going to discuss about in the innate immunity, the concept is barriers of innate immunity. So, first remember, in previous class we discussed about what is the meaning of immunity and what are the main types of the immunity. That's we discussed the immunity and types of immunity, nothing but innate immunity and acquired immunity. And we discussed about the differences between the innate immunity and acquired immunity. Only one simple difference is there. Innate immunity we take by birth. Acquired immunity or adaptive immunity we take after the birth. What's that taking means? That's the energy, immunity power or resistance power. In those differentiations we discussed in almost our last classes. Then come in today's class, we discussed in the innate immunity what are those barriers which are protect our body. Barriers nothing but a protection. Barriers of innate immunity. So, protection in what way protection must be remembered. So, almost like in climatic condition there is the dust infections are going on, fungal infections are there, viral infections are there. Every time we are not going to suffer from the infection. Why? There is the question. So, the answer is that is nothing but in our immune system there is some protective cells are there. Those cells are responsible for the preventing those infections which are coming from outside. Due to that reasons we are not getting quickly infection from any virus or any dust or any aspects. So, because of we are having the immunity, our cells internally they are producing the energy. They are making as a energy in our body. Due to that conditions, we are getting the immunity power. If we have the immunity power, then there is no problem for us for the foreign agent infection. Those internal cells, what are those barriers which are protect our body? About that we are discussing in today's class. So that's why these are called as a barriers of innate immunity. Come to here. What is that? It provides different types of barriers to the entry of foreign agents into our body. Different types, not a single types. When any foreign agents enter into our body through the mouth, through the skin, through the eyes, then in that part there is some protective cells, protective enzymes or hormones will be present. Those responsible from the preventing those foreign agents. That's way it provides different types of barriers to the entry of the foreign agents into our body. So what are those different types of barriers? The first barrier is called as a physical barrier. Physical meaning is that external surface. Okay, you only think in our body which one is called as a external surface prevention part. That's you know that the physical barriers is nothing but these prevents microbes from reaching potential sites of infection. For reaching potential sites of infection. Potential sites means these are the important organs. If those microbes directly reach to the important organs like a liver, like a kidney or intestinal regions, then there is the infection is going to start. Before that only it will be prevented. What are those? Those are called as a physical barriers. For best example, what is that? The external surfaces, skin. Skin is the best example for the preventing the foreign agents entry into our body because it is the external layers. So next one is that epithelial layers. Dear students, you are discussed about the epithelial tissue. It should be a lining on every part which is internal or external. So lining of every part you can remember as the organs. So lining of liver, it should be epithelial tissue. Lining of kidneys, it should be epithelial tissue. Means almost it is present on the external surface. This one also. It prevents the foreign agents into that part. Then come to the mucus layer. This is also present on the cell bodies. The mucus layer. That mucus layer also a external surface layer. It also prevents the entry of microbes into potential sites. So these type of the barriers are called as a physical barriers. In the example they are going to ask you what's that? Give an example for physical barriers. Then you can write what are those examples? Either skin, epithelial or mucus. Because these are present on external layers, that's why those are called as a physical. What's their function? Their function will be prevents microbes from reaching potential sites of infection. This is the first barrier that's called as a physical barrier. Then come to the second barrier, that's nothing but physiological barriers. Physiological barriers, what are those? What is the function of those? These prevents microbial growth. Dear students, entry of microbe is different. When suppose that microbe will be enter into our body, then which one is act like as a second soldier? The first soldier, skin or epithelial cells or mucus layers. Then come to second soldiers. What is that second soldiers? Those are nothing but the acid in stomach. Best example. What is that? Acid. Already you know that which type of the acid is present in our stomach. That's responsible for the diminish the growth of microbes. That is called as a HCl, hydrochloric acid. This acid is responsible for the stop the, diminish the, retarded the growth of microbes. That's the best example which is present in the second barrier type. The second barrier type nothing but a physiological barriers. What they prevents growth of the microbes. That's acid in stomach. Second one is that saliva in the mouth. Saliva, it is slightly acidic in nature. So that's the which is present in our mouth. And best example you must remember the saliva, the enzyme which is present in saliva. It will be asked in CET level. Or one mark question. What's that enzyme which is present in the saliva? That's you know that is called as a salivary amylase enzyme. This enzyme is always present in the saliva of the mouth. This is prevents the growth of the microbes, and the alternative, another name of salivary amylase is also called as a, what is this? Pronounce this one as a Thylline. Thylline enzyme is also nothing but a salivary amylase enzyme. Must be remembered. It will be asked in the CET level. Okay, like that. These enzymes are responsible for the growth of the microbes. Microbes are nothing but a foreign agents. As a best example, dust particles, fungal particles, protozoan aspects. All are nothing but a microbial concepts. Then the next one is that tear from eyes. That's you must remember as a tear. Those tears are also responsible for the growth of the microbes. That should be retarded. Retarded the growth of the microbe, the tear which is present in our eyes. That will be thrown out. Wait, just example. We are going outside. Immediately we are getting the any dust particles into our eyes. Then what happens? There is the in eyes water, that liquid will coming outside. Along with that liquid, which one is coming? That's nothing but a microbes. That's where this is also a such type of barriers. Which type of barriers? physiological barriers. That's why this is a second type of the barriers. That's physiological barriers. So what are the examples of physiological barriers? The first one, acid in stomach. When microbes enter into stomach, then that acid, hydrochloric acid, which will be retarded the growth of the microbes, stop the growth of the microbes. Then second one is that saliva in the mouth. Best example as the enzyme, salivary amylase enzyme, which will be retarded the growth of the, what is that, microbes. And next one is that tear from eyes. The tear which is present in eyes, which are also responsible for the throughout the microbes and stop the growth of the microbes. So these are the examples of which one? Physiological barriers. Okay. Then come the third type of barriers, that's called as a cellular barriers. Cellular barriers, these based on the cells. In our body there is so many we are having component of the cells, okay now, but in that cells different types of the cell play different role, okay. So in that the cellular barriers also a third type of the barriers. What is their role? These destroys and kills microbes. See dear students, how the cells are protective our body. The first cell preventive, second barrier methods retarded the growth of the microbes, third one completely destroys or kills the, what are those? Those are called as a microbe. These destroys and kills microbes. Best example, the examples already you know that those cells which increases the immunity power of the body, those are production in the immune system, in the blood. The best example is that WBC cells. What are those? WBCs. WBC is nothing but a white blood cells or white blood corpuscles. These cells are also called as a leukocytes. Leukocytes are nothing but WBCs. Erythrocytes are nothing but RBCs. Thrombocytes are nothing but platelets. These play very important role in our circulatory system of our body. So that's why dear student, in that the soldiers of the body, what are those? The bodies in our body, we are called them as a soldiers. They are protecting. Those are called as a WBCs. Already I discussed with you in the WBC there are the 5 types are there. The first one, monocytes, basophils, lymphocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, like that, granulocytes and agranulocytes, like that categories are. They are divided as a categories. In that, the main cells we know that WBCs, which are prevents, and not only preventing, what they doing? It destroys and kills the microbes which are already entered into our body. That's why leukocytes are there. And type of the leukocyte, type of the WBC is nothing but monocytes. These, and another one type is that NK cells. NK cells are nothing but natural killer cells. These natural killer cells, the best example which are present in the blood, and the best example for the natural killer cell, one is that's called as a T helper lymphocytes. Dear students, must remember about this word. I have mentioned as a TH, it's called as a helper T lymphocytes. Because these lymphocytes play very important role in the production of the immunity power. Why I am suggested this word means, in the lymphocytes there are 2 types are there. The first one is that B lymphocytes and second one is that T lymphocytes. P lymphocytes are nothing but B lymphocytes, bone marrow lymphocytes. That's the part, that high region of our body. In that only we are getting the more immunity cells, production of the main cells, those B lymphocyte cells. that's the bone marrow, and T lymphocytes, nothing but the thymus part. Thymus. So these are both are called as, those bone marrow and thymus part are called as a primary lymphoid organs. These are called as a primary lymphoid organs, where the generation of the such type of the molecules takes place. Those are called as a antibodies. Then you are getting the idea now. Okay sir, antibodies, these cells are responsible for the production of the immunity power. Those are from where they are produced, from the bone marrow part. That bone marrow is responsible for the production of the which type of the cells? B lymphocytes. In that the molecules are called as a antibodies and antigens. These antibodies, antigens will be increases the energy level in our body. And second one is that T lymphocyte. T lymphocyte nothing but a thymus part. Okay dear students, I gives you clear idea of what is that thymus region. Thymus, it is basically a endocrine gland where it is present. So in the first PUC we are discussed about the one chapter that is called as a chemical coordination and integration. Have you got the point? In that we discussed about the chemical nutrients. Those are commonly called as the hormones. Okay, the hormones which are nothing but where these are present in the endocrine gland. Overall in that chapter we discussed about the endocrine glands and their hormones and what is the function of that hormone. These 3 points only. Okay na? So in this mean the first endocrine gland, I am discussing about some endocrine gland of our body. In this our body there is the some endocrine glands are there. The first, the master part of the body, that's we call as a hypothalamus. After that the master gland of the body is called as a pituitary gland, just below the hypothalamus part, which is linked to the hypothalamus. Master part of the body, hypothalamus. Master gland of the body, pituitary gland. That pituitary gland is going to secrete nearly about 8 to 9 hormones. I remember those hormones like a GH, growth hormone, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, ACTH, okay, adrenocorticotropic hormone, MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, LH, luteinizing hormone, and oxytocin and vasopressin. Like this, there are 8 to 9 hormones will be secreted. This main part, that's way that one is called as a master gland of the body that regulates all the hormonal balancing and imbalancing concept based on the hypothalamus part. So that's why the pituitary gland, after the pituitary gland, just below the pituitary gland we are having a pineal gland. This pineal gland is secretes the one hormone, that hormone is called as a melatonin hormone. This hormone is responsible for the sleep-wake cycle. That is, we call it is a 24 hours circadian rhythm cycle. Means it will be responsible for the wake up, wake and sleep, wake cycle, well, like that we are called, that melatonin hormone. It will be secreted by the gland, pineal gland. Then come to slightly about that regions. From here, the 3 part, hypothalamus, pituitary and pineal, and come to here. In this part, you only tell me what is that? Thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is main important. No, already you got the point about the thyroid. This is going to secrete the main hormone that is called as a thyroxine. Because these are two types of the hormones are there. That is called as a T3 and T4 hormones. Triiodothyronine, tetraiodothyronine. These are responsible for the balancing the thyroid gland. You must remember, if we goes to the hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, If hypothyroidism is going to continuous takes place means then we are suffering from the one type of the deficiency. What is that? That is called as a deficiency of thyroid gland. That is simple goiter. Okay na? Simple goiter. In Kannada we call it is a Gadganda roga. Like this. The thyroid which is secretes the T3 and T4. Then come to the next thyroid. After that back thyroid. There are two pairs of the glands are there. Those are called as a parathyroid glands. This parathyroid gland secretes the hormone PTH, parathyroid hormone. It will be asked in NEET level already. So must be remember here, parathyroid hormone. This gland will be responsible for the metabolism of calcium in the blood. Remember function of PTH. Metabolism of calcium in the blood means metabolism meaning is that balancing, not that much of increases, not that much of decreases. Like that role will be played by PTH hormone. Then come to the next one, only main. No, I am discussing that part. So between the chest here, exact chest part, that is called the thymus gland. This thymus gland secretes a hormone is called as a thymosin. This thymosin play a very important role in the immunity concept. That's we discussed here. Because if the degeneration of this thymus gland or this hormone, thymosin hormones, which will be takes place in the old ages. Because there is one concept is there, you know that the old persons are almost having weak immunity power. Why? Up to continue age will be going to relapsing, continue decreases, then our immunity power also decreases. We are thinking that way. Why means there is the degeneration of the thymosin and thymus part takes place. Due to that reasons, why they are going to mentioning here means thymus will be responsible for the increasing the, what is that? Immunity power, resistance power, energy, that is thymus. After that thymus, you must remember as a pancreas. Best. The one gland which is called as a dual gland of the body or heterocrine gland of the body, that is called as a, which one? Pancreas. Why it's called as a heterocrine? Because it acts as in both endocrine and exocrine. Due to that reasons, the pancreas, the yellow gland of the body, which is responsible for the secretion of the two types of the hormones. Those hormones, you know that is called as a glucagon and another one is that insulin. These two hormones responsible for the production of, means balancing the sugar level in our body. Sugar level, one is sugar will be going to increases, another is become balancing that one. Like this type of the balancing is going by these two hormones. What are those? One is glucagon, another one is that insulin. These two hormones are secreted by the two types of the cells. Those are called as a alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells secretes the glucagon hormone. Beta cells secretes the insulin hormone. Like that, these cells are present in the one part of the pancreas that's called as a islets of Langerhans. Or you can pronounce, somebody pronounce as a islets of Langerhans. That part. What is that? Islets of Langerhans. Langerhans is the scientist name. That's the islets, nothing but meaning is that group of cells. In that alpha cells, beta cells, delta cells are there. Alpha cells secretes the glucagon, beta, insulin, delta, somatostatin. But somatostatin play a different role in the kidney concept. But these two cells will be glucose metabolism activity. They are going to do. So this is the concept about the pancreas as an endocrine gland, as an exocrine gland, both. Then come to the next one, adrenal glands, which are present above the kidneys, the main excretory unit of the body. So those glands are responsible for the secretion of the emergency hormones. There are two types of the emergency hormones are there. They are called as a epinephrine and norepinephrine, or it's also called as a adrenaline and noradrenaline. Like this, these are released from the adrenal cortex part of the adrenal gland. About that you are discussed in last classes clearly. What is the function of epinephrine? Why they are called as the emergency hormones, or why they are called as a 3F hormones? 3F. Flight, fright, fight. All are emergency situation. Flight, momenting. Okay, that's the fright. Immediately we are becoming exciting. Ghabari agodu anತಾರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. And fight. Fight nothing but the two organisms are becoming fighted. When they are in aggressive nature. In these three situations, so this type of the steroid hormones will be releasing our body. Those are called as a epinephrine and norepinephrine. So that's why these are also called as a 3F hormones or emergency hormones. They are releasing during the emergency situation in our body. Remember about the adrenal hormones. This very important in CET and NEET level aspect. After adrenal gland, then come to the gonads of our bodies. That is the male gonadal part is called as a testis. That secretes the hormone testosterone, and female gonadal part that's called as a ovum.